Hi, it's me, the guy who can barely see anything. Uh, today is January 24th, and there's a new banner, so I'm gonna look at it. Sorry there wasn't any videos. I had surgery, so I've been recovering from that, and also getting acclimated to school. So it's still gonna be a bit slow for now, but I'm getting there. This is not what we're here for. New banner is a Dieci South Section 4 banner for Honglu and Yisang. And it's cool that discard exists, but can we please get some burn? I'm kidding. It's cool seeing more, like, discard and sinking, because we need more of both of those things. Discard's main gimmick is being able to use its skill 2 and 3 almost always, because you just get rid of the skill 1. I'm gonna start with Yisang, obviously, because he's weak.
이상이요. 조금 조용히 하도록 하지. 이곳은 지식의 성전이니.
God, it's weird seeing him wear glasses. There's Rhodia in the background there.
그런가. 공부를 더욱 게을리하지 말아야 하겠군. 정진하게 했어.
He punchy. I always approve of sinners getting IDs that are literally just punching people to death, because that's funny. It is paramount in the mastery of the fist that I remain fully aware of the structure of the human anatomy. Sparring, basic cardiovascular fitness training, striking at punching bags. The ways of improving one's body are truly numerous. However, one must spend a significant amount of time before a desk, pen in hand, to truly grasp what constitutes the mastery of the fist. Have you ever experienced fatigue so extreme that each step feels as though you are wading through a quagmire? Yet, in that exhaustion, my mind is cleared like the reflective surface of a freshly minted coin. I grow rather joyous on such occasions. To gaze upon the blueprint of a human body in solitude is to train my brain as one does body, to fortify the threads of my mind as one does the threads of musculature. I imagine the human anatomy in equivalence to an architecture. In the Association Library's knowledge repository, those countless bundles of paper, I have found most interesting the subject of architecture. Considering that the young child lifted from a terrible fate by the Association found the sections under architecture and human anatomy most interesting as he perused from A row to H row of the library, it would be no hyperbole to say that these two subjects have much in common. Sheer wall structure, trusses design, flat slab construction. I soon came to understand that as I took notes on these words too electrifying to even vocalize. Even each and every one of these techniques was an outcome of an extended meditation in the pursuit of utmost stability. However, after a long contemplation of such designs, I have also come to understand that even the most robust of architectures have load-bearing walls that will crumble the entire construction should they be properly damaged. I find the study of such vulnerabilities quite intriguing. If one were to ask me why ever, then I may answer that such study permits one to demolish and reconstruct defective construction with a newly invented structure closer to perfection, to tear down the architecture with ease once its flaws have been identified and eliminated. I don't know why the music got quieter there. Such ideation came to me in the wake of my adulthood, as I began undertaking tasks for the association. It was around that time when I reached the H section of the library. I began to muse that perhaps flawed structures are ambling about in the name of human anatomy. I had a sudden thought that I wished to correct these flaws, not only by the association's orders, but compelled by my nature as a researcher. Indeed, the human anatomy, though it may initially appear rather consistent across every individual, transfigurates into different structures as the body grows. Certain structures grow to be increasingly unstable in their physical blueprints, yet are reinforced by the cement and steel frame of a powerful mind that allows them to stand steadfast. Whereas certain other structures have firm physical balance, yet have built themselves an incredibly flawed internal design. The more flawed a structure is, the more obvious their vulnerabilities become. With my research, I may demolish them with a mighty and precise strike so that they may be rebuilt to a proper shape. Thus completed is the mastery of the fist. The mastery of an art that, instead of polymorphous fickleness of the keys that unnecessarily destroys the outer layer, strikes at the core of the structure. Indubitably, that is why I, a structure myself, have selected these fists as my passion. He punch, in other words. He likes to punch people. It's weird for Yi Sang, but I guess he does only use a knife usually. Alright, I don't like the looks of those already. Dieci Association South Section 4 Yi Sang. That's not a mouthful at all. Passive first. When attacked, inflict 1 sinking to the attacker, up to 4 times per turn. That's whatever. This means literally nothing, honestly. Anything that inflicts to the attacker when you get hit will rarely ever matter. Giving to yourself when you get hit, that would be much better, except obviously this is a positive coin ID. Reviewed knowledge. When one ally with the highest speed discards a skill, gain 3 times discarded skill rank percent of the max HP as shield once per turn. This is going to be most helpful for Dieci Rhodia, because she already generates a ton of shield, and Molar Otis because she's kind of frail, so it'll help having something to lean on if necessary. Defense. Fixated Study, 10 to 16. Randomly discard 2 of this unit's skill slots in ascending order of ranks from all of its skill slots. Gain 3 aggro to this skill slot next turn. Basic tank defense. He does seem to be a tanky ID, just all around. So this is where these IDs start to differ from other discard IDs. Gain insight times 3% of max HP shield if the skill is discarded. And on use, discard 1 skill of the highest rank in all of this unit's skill slots. So it'll discard, prioritize skill 3 first, then skill 2, and then skill 1. Which is strange, and both hits lower stagger threshold equal to insight, which insight is unchanged. It's just whatever skill you discarded last. This does break all of the rules of how discards is supposed to help you. A 3 to 11 with no chance of being boosted. I know this is only at uptie 3, but hear me out. A 3 to 11 is already not the best. I mean, it's like the average, right? But it has no boost by default. And this ID wants to use this skill to get shield, right? Because that's how you get shield, is to discard your skills. But you're not going to want to prefer to use skill 1 ever. So I don't know. Skill 2, Seal Shut, 4 to 13, not great. Gain insight times 5% of max HP shield if this skill is discarded. On use, discard 1 skill of the highest rank again, and on use, gain 3 aggro next turn. And then hits 2 and 3 inflict sinking equal to insight on heads hit, which is like, if you don't have sinking count infliction anywhere, this isn't going to matter. All of the Dieci IDs seem to have, like, they have sinking infliction, but they don't inflict enough by themselves. You need, like, Molar Ishmael in the party in order to make use of the sinking infliction here, which is fine, but still. Skill 3, Grace of Knowledge, 4 to 12, terrible skill 3 roll range. Gain insight times 9% if this skill is discarded, and gain 8 aggro, and then the 4th hit inflicts 2 sinking count. 8 aggro, I believe, is the second highest amount of aggro that a skill can give you, with the highest being Zvi Sinclair's skill 3, which gives you 10. I could be wrong about that, because I don't really pay attention to aggro a lot. So if I'm wrong about that, please correct me. I'm not going to bother going in to check right now. At uptie 4, Expend Knowledge, his skill 1 gains on use if target has 5 plus sinking coin power plus 1. So it becomes a 3 to 13, which is still not great, but it helps. Seal Shut gains an additional percentage on discard, and if target has 5 plus coin power plus 1, making it a 4 to 16, and these change to on hit. I would want it to be a 4 to 16 by default. 4 to 13 is like bad now, unfortunately. And Grace of Knowledge gets a 30% boost to the shield gained, max aggro gain on skill slot, and at 50% or less HP coin power plus 1, and inflict an additional sinking count. He is a tank, so maybe being at low HP is more reasonable, but also, you know, I'll probably uptie this ID just because I don't want it to be, bad. This ID needs to be at uptie 4 to be usable, and even at uptie 4, he doesn't seem that impressive. This gains an additional 2 aggro and becomes a 12 to 18 instead of a 10 to 16. Good. Fixated Study is going to work the same way that Dieci Rhodia's defense skill works. It's basically just going to give you half your HP bar as shield, which is always nice. So that's going to be his primary role in a team, most likely. I just wish it was better otherwise. Sinking Knowledge, if you are shielded, inflict an additional sinking, which is neat. Still not very useful. And then Reviewed Knowledge goes to 2 times per turn. Yeah, it gets 2 more % shield. Okay, I'm gonna uptie this to 4 because I want to use it. Because I just generally like the Dieci IDs. They're fun to play around with. But my opinion of this ID is that it is not great. And that's mostly down to its roll ranges. It'll probably do a decent job tanking, but it doesn't bring anything to discard. Having to discard the highest skill rank, and this doesn't even discard, by the way, which kind of defeats the purpose of a discard ID. It seems very underwhelming, even compared to Yi Seng's other discard ID, and it's certainly not as good as his other sinking IDs.
이건 이렇게 쓰여 있나 보네요.
Ladies and gentlemen, hang 10.
현명하신 생각이네요. 깨우칠 것이 있다면 이 열쇠로 인도해 드릴게요.
Aha, I see. So that's how you read this word. The child was reading a book through a ring on his key, muttering to himself. The book was so ancient that holding it at a slightly wrong angle could completely unbind it. Its pages were filled with numerous, indecipherable and squiggly letters. The child didn't know exactly which one of those letters meant, but... I see. Linguistic forms other than the 13 common languages existed. He continued to stare into the ring on his key with this calm, unblinking eye. Perhaps looking through it revealed something different. I'll have to shrink the ring a bit here. The child expertly fiddled with the ring on his key and as though he was playing with a rubber band. He shrunk the key to a similar size and returned to peering at the text through its hole. I knew it. I see that someone's erased something back here, There's nothing like this key when it comes to finding hidden or redacted records. It is a publicly known fact that there are 2 sects within the Dieci Association. The Fists, who directly collect and grasp knowledge with their own hands. The Keys, who use their tools to study something indirectly through a lens from a distance. The Fists naturally veered toward hand-to-hand combat, encouraged by the essence of their main mode of knowledge acquisition. And the Keys naturally veered toward using their very tools of observing and acquiring knowledge, thus charging their strength as weapons. We're not allowed to touch this book, right? Indeed, this is an ancient document. A slight contamination from the sebum on the surface of the skin could alter it irrevocably. How am I really supposed to understand with this without touching it? Physical contact isn't always necessary. Sufficient information can be garnered from simply taking in the text using this comparison chart that I have prepared. Now, observe this part where... Though the difference between the 2 sects merely boils down to the personal tastes and the upbringing of each child, perhaps they would have enjoyed the convenience of a key in situations like these. And there's more. Yeah. The Keys have the advantage of being able to use their tools to strike their enemies from afar, but the Fists have no choice but to get up close and personal with them. What the hell? Slapping around with a key like that? Oh my, now where did you come from? And since it's no common knowledge that the tiny key, small enough to be used as a pendant on his necklace, can grow so large like that, It's pretty obvious why some enemies are caught completely off guard when facing off against the keys. Whew, I guess that's all there was to do for today. Now, one may wonder why anyone would choose the alternative over using a key, but it has its downsides. So where in the world am I? To peer into a key for knowledge means that the knowledge gained from sources other than the key will not be stored as strength. Enlarging the key, giving it a proper mass, it all costs knowledge gained specifically through the key. Of course, swinging about a huge key like that will inevitably burn a large quantity of knowledge. Haha, I guess I forgot. And that's how these missions usually end. So they're given their assignments through the key lens, and thus they will forget their assignment after it's come to a close. That's interesting. It's like the perfect... we don't want any of our guys to know about this, but we have to use some of them to deal with it. So we'll let these guys know about it, and then they'll forget it at the end. I mean, that's probably what they're used for. There's also probably just doing things on their own and then just forget. Alright, let's start with passives. When discarding a skill, gain damage up equal to the discarded skill's rank, up to 3 per turn. That's 3 damage up, not 3 times per turn. And it's also Gloom Resonance. Gloom is historically pretty powerful, so that probably won't be an issue. After attack, if the target is in a staggered or defeated state by an attack from one ally with the least SP, the ally heals 7 SP. Okay, I will stick with base Honglu healing 3 SP to a random person every turn. It's too specific to cause you to have to stagger or kill an enemy to gain SP. I think it's just too slow. It's probably not a bad support passive, though. I don't know if Honglu has any other Gloom support passives, but if he does, it might be better than them? I have no idea. Oh, no, it's not. Burn. Never mind. Guiding steps 3 to 13 evade, which is average. Randomly discard 2 of this unit's skills in ascending order of ranks from all of its skill slots. That's normal for discard. He has the same HP as Yisang and a better defense level. Why? He doesn't seem as tanky. Anyway, before we visit anything else, you cannot use this ID effectively prior to Uptie 3. Most IDs can probably handle themselves at Uptie 1 or 2 up until Chapter 3 in this game. This one specifically needs to be at Uptie 3 at least, because it revolves around having his skill 3. So first off, Expend Knowledge is a 5 to 10, which is very meh for a skill 1, but there's a reason for it. Discard 1 skill of the highest rank in all of this unit's skill slots, and at 3+ Insight gain 1 Clash Power. There is a point to that, obviously. Heads hit inflict 1 sinking count, always good. On hit at 3+ Insight, reuse coin once. Now, there have been some good skill 1s in this game. Bullet Otis has a really good skill 1. Molar Ishmael has a really good skill 1. Dieci Rhodia actually has a really good skill 1, in case people were still somehow not confirmed on that yet. This skill 1 is very good. Being at 3+ Insight is guaranteed if you use this skill while you have a skill 3 in the other slot. So, you're going to always hit twice, despite it being a one coin skill, and that second hit is going to roll a 15, which is pretty significant. Skill 2 is a 4 to 16, that's what we like to see. Unknown, what? Okay, cool. Randomly discard 2 of this unit's skills in ascending order of ranks from all of its skill slots. So this prioritizes discarding skill 1. This is on use, by the way, in case anybody didn't know. On use at 3+ Insight, coin power +1, making it a 4 to 19, which is not bad. Third coin on hit, inflict 3 sinking. It's Dieci. Rolls pretty good. If it wasn't Slash, this would be probably overpowered. Just in general. Both of these skills, in fact. Now, I don't know how you're going to be at 3+ Insight, because this prioritizes discarding skill 1 for some reason. Though it does discard 2 of them, so I don't know. I don't think you can get to more than 3 Insight. Skill 3, Cyclical Knowledge, 5 to... what is that, 13? No, 5 to 14. At 2 plus insight, coin power plus insight. So, I mean, the likelihood of you discarding a skill 3 is pretty low. So, actually, this doesn't discard. Never mind. So this could potentially be a 5 plus 6, which would cap at 23, which is really good, actually. Deal plus 1.5% more damage per sinking on the target, up to 15%. That's somewhat irrelevant, honestly. And third coin has hit, inflict 3 sinking count, and after attack, if target is staggered or defeated, heal 10 SP. I don't know why they made that part of his passive, but okay, more power to you. This is a very powerful skill 3. If you can use it while you're at 3 insight, not likely, because you're at uptie 3, it's not likely, because you're going to be discarding this, and you're going to want to not discard anything else, which is basically an impossibility. What about uptie 4? I'm pretty sure uptie 4 is going to be wanted on this guy, but we'll see. Clash power plus insight minus 1. So at 3 insight, it actually gets a plus 2 in a clash, which is not bad. It still clashes maximum 12. Reuse this coin insight minus 1 times. Shout out to Buildery Boy. But no, this is about what I expected. So this can roll 3 times. So 20 on a skill 1. I don't know if it's overpowered because discarding your skill 3, which is already going to roll that high, is questionable, but that is mostly up to you. Unveil, coin power plus insight minus 1, instead of coin power plus 1 at 3 insight. Becomes on use. I don't know what this is supposed to be. I'm assuming it's supposed to be on use, and they just have the unknown there as a mistake. And also inflict 1 more sinking on the third coin. This is fine. This is a skill 2. This is about what we would expect from it. Coin power plus 2 on this? What does that make it? 4 to 22? That's not bad. Cyclical Knowledge doubles the damage increase, inflicts 1 more sinking count. I didn't expect this to get any more coin power. That would be a little strange. Guiding Steps gains 1 and becomes Gloom. That's cool. Peering Through a Key. When discarding a skill, gain damage up equal to the discarded skill rank, max 3. When other allies discard a skill, and if the allies discarded skill rank is higher than this unit's insight value, this unit gains 1 insight. That's funny. I don't know how useful that is. It's going to matter occasionally if you're using skill 3, I suppose, but using skill 1 and 2, that's not going to make much of a difference. I don't know, he seems good. I don't want to say he's overpowered, because I don't think he is, honestly. And the reason... First off, I am going to do this. You're going to want this at uptie 4, regardless. The reason I think he's not overpowered is because he's actually, A, making you think about what you do in combat, which is always a downgrade, in my opinion. And by that I mean people are going to view it as a downgrade, even if it's not. And also, the 2 skills you're probably going to use more often are Slash. Slash as a damage type isn't, like, super good at the moment. You want Blunt or Pierce in the newest chapter. Slash has kind of been being left at the wayside. So the new mission to test stuff out is 529, 3 waves of enemies, with the default battle music for whatever reason. Let's try to use these as they're intended. That's not going to give much. I really need to win some clashes right away, though, because of how this works. Struggling? That's discarding a skill 3. So the issue here is that it is struggling. It's going to get some clash power just from existing, but hopefully we win that clash. Nope. Okay, well that's unfortunate. Dang. Why the heck is it? Oh, right. I was like, why the heck is Ishmael at minus 25 sanity? It's because it's chapter 5. Of course she is. Alright, Honglu, really need you to get your sanity up, so just use that for now.
어두운 무지를 열어줬지라. 깨달음이 괴롭지.
I really like the animations that the Dieci IDs have. They're really cool. I don't know how to describe it. They're just cool looking. What? Yeah, I feel like Honglu's skill 1 is going to be very, like... It's reliable, but not the best thing you can be doing, I want to say. That's how it feels already, at least. It's probably better than it looks, knowing me. That just discarded the skill 1, that's unfortunate. Not that I could have prevented it, of course. These IDs... Well, okay, Honglu is going to be very good for building up Sun Shower strats, I believe. Okay, this turn kind of stinks. I don't want to be stuck at that amount of sanity. I want to use his skill 3 at some point, but I guess not right now. They don't feel like other discard IDs feel to use. Other discard IDs, you just use skill 1 and skill 2 and skill 3 constantly, and that's basically it. Look at that. That's actually cool. It looks cool. I'm not gonna deny that. I just don't know how practical it is, you know? Here, we'll use this skill 3 right here. And hopefully it'll matter. I haven't been looking to see how much shield Yi Sang has been getting. I'm just kind of assuming it's on similar levels to Rhodia. Then again, his skill 3 doesn't discard, so I have no idea. It's very hard to judge these. Especially since I feel like this is probably not the best place to test them to begin with. I'm guessing for Honglu, you probably want to avoid using skill 2, unless you don't really have a choice. Yeah, because skill 3 kind of just has the same animation as skill 1. Yeah, I really don't know how to feel about it. It seems okay, though. I like the Dieci IDs conceptually, so I don't want to say it's bad. But, like, maybe one of my favorite IDs aesthetically, honestly. It's very strange to see a skill 1 rolling that high. I am a little worried that Honglu might be a little too consistently good. And I get that that's kind of the point of discard, is that they're very consistently good, with their skills being maybe slightly lower than the top tier IDs in terms of strength, but they are very consistent. This Honglu feels like more consistent, maybe. Because at any point you discard a skill 2 or a skill 3, skill 1 is as good as a skill 2, typically. So you don't even need your skill 2. Maybe he's a little slow. I'm noticing that, I suppose. But yeah, just use 2 skill 1s. That being said, skill 1 still is terrible at clashing. It doesn't take advantage of the additional coins, and it can only get a maximum of +2, I believe, in clash, so it's like a 12 maximum. He's damage and not really much else, even though skill 3 can vault really high, honestly. Hey Faust, I see how it is. But that's really all I can say about it, too. I don't know. I definitely knew it wasn't going to be able to re-roll 3 times at skill 1. Again, shout out Buildery Boy. Okay, this turn's going to suck for him. That's okay. In terms of team synergy, Wrath... What was on this? Wrath, Gloom, Sloth is perfect for Yi Sang, which is ironic because Yi Sang is not the ID that has that that combination. Oh wow, that's a terrible skill 3. Oh well. because Wrath, Sloth, Gloom perfectly feels Wishing Cairn and Crow's Eye View. Not that Wishing Cairn is regularly used, but it can be used, is what I'm trying to get at. Wrath Sloth is not a common pairing. Yasunyata uses it. In fact, to be honest, these feel like Yasunyata on Heathcliff for the ego you're going to be building. Yisang's skill setup is the same as Gregor's, G-Corp Greg's, and that is Sloth, Gluttony, Lust, which is very strange, but it fits Yisang pretty well, so I can't really complain about it. He's probably one of the worst Yisangs for generating Sin Affinity, honestly. And to that, hopeless. My god. What is happening? What did they do to him? Like... yeah, kick his ass. Good job, homie. Oh, what the heck? Was that the third wave? I thought that was only the second wave. Or were there even 3 waves? I thought 5-29 had 3 waves. Was I just wrong? I don't know, I don't pay attention to that stuff. Regardless. Here's what damage looked like. Honglu was slot 1. So I think it's pretty clear that Dieci Rodia is still the best of the 3 easily. She's a crazy good ID, and so that doesn't surprise me at all. It's probably going to be one of those things where people are going to have to toy with it a bit before it feels natural to use. I'm just glad to finally have an ID that's better than base Honglu to use in sinking runs, because I hate running Tremor in the Mirror Dungeon. It's so bad. You have no idea. But, consensus, this Yisang perhaps is a little weak overall, but he's not terrible. And so I can't really complain about him, he kind of just exists. He's the Yisang you use if you don't have Spice Bush, because Spice Bush is just objectively better than this in every way except defense. And that's typically going to be better to just focus on the offense anyways. In terms of both sinking teams and just dealing damage in general, Spice Bush just outclasses this in every conceivable way. Except that Pride instead of Lust, but that shouldn't matter too much. Honglu is very interesting. I do not know how good he is. He feels like maybe he's not as good as Ting Tang. Like all the Honglus for some reason have this thing where they say, re-roll this coin sometimes. It's very funny. But I think Ting Tang is probably better, but I like this one more, if that makes sense. We still don't really have any good ego on Honglu, ironically, but that's okay. I like him a bit. For sinking teams, he's definitely going to be useful because his skill 1 inflicts sinking count, which is something that we don't have in good quantity. So that's always going to be welcome, and that's about all I can really say about him. He doesn't feel any of his own ego great, which is fine. He doesn't have to, that's not the point. But he definitely feels like maybe A tier. Definitely not anywhere above A tier. S tier is out of his reach. And I'm saying that knowing that he gets damage up using his passive. You basically have to run all Gloom for that, though. Oh, and you can use him in Mono Gloom, so I guess I might as well make note about that. It would definitely be better than Liu Honglu, at least. So, yeah. Alright. That's basically it. I don't really have much else to comment on in regards to these. Looking for a... Hold on, this is important. I can put the word spiders in here, and it'll make sense. Books key or spider? Looking for a spider? Yeah, hell yeah, I am. Okay, let me just put them in the company now. In terms of what ego I recommend bringing, I don't. How about that? I honestly don't think... He doesn't feel any of his ego, actually. I mean, he has Gloom for Land of Illusion, and that is it. So, you're getting the newest too, I suppose. And Yi Sang... you're gonna want to run the same ego you always do. So that's it. I do not know how to feel about them, but that's it for me. I hope you found this helpful. I have a headache because I'm still unable to wear my glasses from surgery. Hopefully that'll be solved tomorrow, but yesterday by the time you see this, hopefully. Aside from that, thank you for watching. I'll be back eventually. I hope you have a good weekend. Bye.